All right, guys. Coach, you'll be unmuted the whole time, so you can obviously jump in and add some stuff as we go. Um, but we'll get started right now. We've got how to watch film is the focus today, right? And so what we're doing is trying to help you guys learn about the way that we watch film at the high school, how our coaches and our players, what we're trying to get out of watching the film, and how do we get the things, how do we make the most of the time we spend watching film. So we actually did a session yesterday with the high school guys, went through it took about an hour of film and review. We talked to the guys about some other stuff first, and at the end too. But about an hour of film review, and I think we watched 6 clips, right? And we basically broke down those 6 clips over and over again, and and talked about all the different things we saw, all the little pieces we learned from watching each video, each clip, and watching it over and over again. So we probably watched a total of um, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. 6 clips that were roughly 45 seconds each. So, probably under the 5 minutes of lacrosse. And we talked about it and pointed out so many little details. And so that's what we want to show you guys is, what do we do at the high school? And then also, how can you guys get better at watching film on your own, right? So that you guys could watch a highlight tape, you could watch a college game, you could watch a pro game, and get a lot out of it. So we'll jump right in. I'll share my screen. We've got the chat going. All right. If you have questions, hopefully there's a bunch of questions today. We've got the chat going. You guys can to jump in there and post any questions you have as we go. Today's a really good day to ask a lot of questions because we're going to have some high level stuff. We won't go into as much detail as the high school guys. We'll keep it shorter, but we will still teach you guys some higher level lacrosse IQ stuff. And film is a great way to improve your IQ. So let's jump right into it here. All right. Here we go. So how to watch film for Westport 7th and 8th graders. So first, why are we going to watch film? Right. To me, there's 3 big reasons why we watch film. Okay. So number one is you would watch your own team play. Right. So that's oops, sorry guys. Number one, watching film is to learn about yourselves, right? Watching your own team play and identify some things that you did really well and identifying some things that you did poorly, right? And so watching yourself play lacrosse and watching your team play lacrosse, you can, and as a coach and as a player, both coaches and players, you can learn a lot about your own team watching yourself play. Definitely a lot more than just seeing it live and trying to say, oh, I think this is what happened, or I'm not positive why the goal was scored, but watching it on film, you can replay it, rewind it, and really hone in on the things you're doing well, the things you're doing poorly. Okay. The second reason, right, is to learn about, and we call this scouting at the high school, and you've heard that before. But so scouting your opponents, right, learning about your opponents, and what we want to do when we watch our opponents is we don't want to necessarily just watch and be like, all right, number 5 is their best midi, or their goalie, is good, or this guy, is a good face-off guy. Okay, when we do scouting and we watch our opponents, what we're trying to do is pick up tendencies, right? We're trying to say, okay, this goalie is really good, but here's his weakness, right? He gives up a lot of goals top left, right? He's bad off stick high, or when he clears the ball, he makes a lot of mistakes in the clear. So we want to make him clear the ball more. That's the kind of detail and kind of scouting you want to get, right? This dodger, this is what this guy does every time he dodges. He wants to get to this spot. He wants to shoot from here, and this is where he shoots on the net, right? And that's the kind of detail and insight, right, you're trying to get from scouting your opponent. Uh-oh, somebody delete those annotations off there, please, if we can. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, got it. Right. So that's, number 1 and 2 is to learn about ourselves or to learn about our opponent. And then finally, another reason why you would watch film is to learn from other coaches and other players. All right. And so what that makes, or what that does is it helps us make our individual and team skills better. So, our coaches at the high school, our players at the high school, we send them, players that we think they play like, right? Whether they're in the college game or in the pro game, right? These are guys that you play like, or you could play like, right? Watch this film on this guy and learn from this player. Or, for us as coaches, we watch other coaches and other teams and say, okay, what were they trying to do with this offense? What kind of scheme were they running on defense here? and why was it successful? What did these coaches do really well that we want to essentially steal, right? You want to copy some stuff from the film you're watching. You can watch other plays. Last season for us at the high school, we would take the best plays our opponents ran, we would copy them and make a couple adjustments, and make it so it fit our players, and we would use them for ourselves, because there's only so many plays out there, and you find a good one that works, and you feel like it could be successful for you, you want to use it. So that was something we did last year. So those, to me, those are the three main reasons why why you watch film. Coach Anderson, I don't know if you've got any other reasons why, but to me, these are kind of the main reasons why we would watch film. Next, there we go. And this is it. This is the last slide of the presentation, and then we're going to get right into watching film. So we'll do a bunch of film study and talking through the film. So this is how we approach watching film, right? This is what we do as coaches, and what we try and teach our players to do. So the keys to watching the film is to watch the clip once all the way through, right? And the reason why you do that is you want to see the whole spectrum, the whole context of the play, how it starts, what happens in the middle, how it finishes, so that as you go through and you want to watch little tiny details, where it started and where it ends, and you're able to say, okay, the result of this play is a really nice step down shot on the backside. Okay, now I'm going to rewatch the clip. I'm going to, this is the second piece here, right? Restart the clip and identify a specific part of the film to watch. So what we do then is you restart the clip after watching it all the way through. Then you would pick certain parts in there to stop. Okay, and that would be your film to watch and to focus on. Okay, next piece is, next thing you would do is rewatch. You'd slow it down, you'd rewind it, right? Maybe go slow motion, that specific part of the film, and you do that a few times, right? When we're watching film, we probably watch the same, whether it's, say it's 5 seconds or 8 seconds we want to see, we watch that 5 or 8 seconds probably 15 times when you're analyzing the film, to really try and pick up every little detail within that segment. Okay, and then the last piece, to me, that is a key for younger guys when they watch film, right, is you're watching a lot more than just the ball, right? A lot more than the guy carrying the ball for the offense, or the guy covering the ball for the defense. Okay, we got to use film to learn about all aspects of team offense and team defense. Okay, so getting the most out of that, getting more than just, wow, sick shot or nice save, right? You want to learn, what did this guy do to get a good shot, or what did this goalie do that set him up, or the defense that set him up so that he could make that save. Coach, you got any points before we jump into the film here?
No, I really like what we're getting at here. Looks great.
All right, cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get into some film. You guys have any questions? There's nothing in the chat right now. Again, if you have questions, just throw them in the chat there. As far as watching film or how it works or anything like that. Now what we're going to do is we are going to jump on to, just trying to find it here, jump on to Crossover, which is our film. We use this for the high school. Okay. But, also this is, instead of watching our high school guys or watching youth lacrosse, we're going to actually watch pro lacrosse back from when I was playing for the Rochester Rattlers. So I'm number 28 on the white team in this film. We're going to watch some pro lacrosse, and it's cool to see that, this was the exact same film company and breakdown company, that we used in the pros is what we also use at Staples High School. We use for all our film needs at the high school. So we'll just jump into these clips. We're going to only watch probably 4 or 5 clips here. But we'll take our time going through them, and Coach and I will point out a bunch of stuff for you guys to see. Okay, so we'll jump right into it. All right, so this is a game that, we're the white team, Rochester. We're playing down in Florida against the Florida Launch. They're a very strong team. They were in the playoffs. They made the playoffs that year. This was actually the last game of the season. We were fighting to get into the playoffs the end of the year here. So you'll see Florida's on offense. Okay, they actually run an umbrella set, one of the offenses we like to run. All right, and we'll let this dodge, play through, dodge, and a shot. So that doesn't seem like that much, right? That it seemed like about 5 seconds of offense. Okay, but when you watch this film, you can see a lot of things. So to me, I would say that this is actually is a pretty good shot, right, for number 44, right? pretty good place for him to be shooting from. Not the best, but definitely not a terrible shot. Okay. For us, the scouting report was at number 44, this guy, Stephen Brooks, one of the best shooters in the league. All right. He's very, very good lefty. So the scouting report was we wanted to force him down the alley to his right hand and be a little slower to slide to him there. Okay. But looking at the offense, they do a really good job of spacing the field. This white arc, that's 16 yards from the goal. Okay. So that white arc is 16 yards from the goal. The restraining box in our lacrosse, the restraining line would probably be right around here, 4 yards above it. So you look, they've got 3 guys all the way above the restraining line, 2 guys back behind the net, and a guy in the crease who's doing a good job of being pretty active in there, moving around a bit. So this first thing is I notice is the offense did a really good job of spreading the field. Okay, and you'll see when 44 catches this ball and starts dodging, right? One of our D middies is all the way out here, right? What we want him to do, we want him to get back into the crease and help. All right, so that's me on the crease here, ready to slide. Okay, we want this guy to start helping in to number 13 so that we can slide from the crease, right? And number 40, John Lade, we want him to help into the crease as well so that we can slide sooner and earlier as needed. Okay, so we'll let the clip play a little bit, right? Coach, I know you talked about what you liked in this dodge. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that he does right here, and we kind of talked about this in the offensive series that we did the other day, is he squares his shoulders, right? That's kind of what Rabel was talking about. If you square your shoulders up to the defender, so if you get your shoulders square with number 2 right here, just make sure your threat to be able to go both ways, right? It kind of squares up number 2 to the goal. And he just has to go quick left to right, and he gets himself a great angle going to the goal. Whereas if he just kept running right down didn't change his speed, didn't change his direction there, he would have been a lot easier to defend there.
All right, and you can see number 2, Jack Neer, he wants to protect that middle of the field, all right, and he has to hesitate for a second because he's square, and that stutter step, he could burst out of this to his left hand, which is his strong hand, right, or take the righty alley. Okay, so again, you see this guy up here for D middies, right, for midfielders. This guy, we want to get him way back in. He's in pretty bad position right now out there, right? So as this guy dodges the alley, the offense does a good job of having a clear through here. This guy's moving on the crease. He pulled me pretty far away. You look at the crease guy, where's he moving as number 44 catches the ball, right? He's backpedaling away to pull the slide as far as possible to make this dodge lane as big as possible, as open as possible, right? And so from the inside, it's hard to necessarily slide and leave. With this guy, he would have been wide open if the slide goes super early, right? One of the defensive concepts we talk about is communicating through everything. So this guy, number 28, that's me, should have been talking a lot better to his teammates, right? I felt pretty vulnerable that if I slid, this guy was going to score. Right? I got to do a better job of talking to Joel White, number 11, John Lade, number 40, Donnie Moss, number 80 up here to have those guys help in, protect the crease so that our crease guy can slide. Okay. As you see here as the shot, right? This is how a great teammate and a great leader, right? It happens to be the goalie, John Galloway, one of the best goalies in the world, right? Watch his reaction after this play happens, right? Watch what he's talking to me, telling me what to do, right? You'll see. The shot goes wide. Right away, he's like, hey, we got to go from the crease, right? You're in the crease. We got to go from there. Okay, so that's a good leadership quality, good communicating, vocal leadership, right, from your goalie telling your team what to do. And that's what you need to do as a good leader on the offensive or defensive end. All right, so watch it one more time all the way through so you guys see all the points we were talking about as we go, and watch it full speed now. All right, so the next clip, right, is right after that. So this guy just picks the ball up on the end line. That guy, his number 22, is Casey Powell, one of the legends of the sport. He played against Coach Marcus back in college, okay, and then I was playing against him in the pros probably 15 years later. He was still playing pro lacrosse, right? So next clip here, this one you'll see as we roll it. Sweep across the middle, roll back, double team, and throw the ball away, right? So that's how the whole play goes. So we want to see that was a win for the defense, right? We want to say, okay, well, what caused the defense to win that play, right? So we watched it all the way through. We saw what happened, and now we're thinking, how did the defense win that play, right? So we watch it and we see, okay, the slide guy, right? We get swept to the middle of the field, which is really not where we want to go, especially against Connor Busick, one of the best righty shooters. Okay. Our crease guy, which is me in this instance, right? We want to make sure we're always ball side. So you see, starting on this side, ready to slide, the dodge turns to a sweep, right? And I think I do a solid job of getting to this side of my man so that now I'm in a approach and a slide angle to a slide to the ball right here. Okay. You look at the back, the rest of the defense. We've got 3 guys up above the goal. We talked about that green circle in front of the net, right? We've got 3 guys in front of the goal here ready to help if we needed to, right? As this guy keeps his dodge going, right? He slows down, chops his feet, and to me, that's go time for a double team. All right. So one of the things that's higher level skill, okay, is when to double team a guy. All right. So we had a question, I think, in one of our keys of defense was about sliding adjacent, right? If the guy dodges the alley, should we slide adjacent from this guy right here? So what do you think would have happened if number 33 slides up to play the ball? This guy would have thrown right to number 6, Kieran McCardle, and he would have scored one-on-one with our goalie, right? So that's why we wouldn't want to double team from the adjacent and from the guy's front, right? Where he's facing him and he can see the ball. Instead, a good time to double is when you see the back of his helmet, right? So as this guy runs past me, I'm already thinking, okay, it's a good time to double team, right? He can't see me coming. I know Joel White has got my back. He's going to cover this guy as I go, okay? And then you see the last pieces, this guy starts chopping his feet, okay? It's one of the best skills for a double team to understand is you're looking for this guy to slow down his feet and you go right away. As soon as you see that, he's stopping. That means he's going to slow down, stop, and roll back into the pressure, okay? Coach, you want to talk about what, offensively, what happens that allows the double team to work pretty easily?
Yeah, so if we went back, we're not going to go back, but the last dodge, the beginning dodge, the number 6, he had cleared through, right? So way back, on the first clip, number 6 had cleared through in the offense, and then the crease was pretty active. Same thing kind of happens here, except this time the attackman kind of gets caught up in no man's land. Number 6 he's hesitant, he doesn't clear through, and instead he puts himself in a really tough spot. He's actually running towards the ball. And then as he's running towards the ball, he's bringing his defender there, right? So in essence, Coach K did a nice job coming over here to double from behind. 33 did a good job of kind of just showing there because this is a free double from this spot too. The offensive guy kind of hesitates. He sees 2 guys in front of his face. He knows he's in trouble. He's thinking about potentially trying to flip it. But the nice things that out of this though, right? This is a really tough spot. What he probably should have done is he probably should have just put it in his other hand and rolled away from pressure, taken 2 or 3 steps and try to make that pass up to number 11. Instead, he tries to make a pull pass. He steps off and he steps right into the face of a double team and pull. That's what we talk about all the time is we got to create space for Dodgers. And, number 6 gets caught up in no man's land. He had way better options than going to try to go set a pick there. He could have drifted off back or faded back towards X, or he could have cleared through. And he had plenty of time to clear through, too.
All right, cool. You guys got any questions? I'm looking. Nothing in the chat. You guys are good. You guys notice stuff. All right, cool. So we'll move on to the next, or let's watch it one more time from the start of the dodge here, just so you see all the little pieces we were talking about. All right, then we'll move on to the next one. All right, next clip. We'll watch it all the way through, learn what happens in the play, figure out what made it happen. All right, so that's number 44 I was telling you about, Stephen Brooks, big lefty shooter. All right, so we'll rewind it. We'll only go back to this first dodge. But so watching that play, right, we know the result is really nice time and room, lots of time, lots of room, lefty step down, Okay, really nice shot. Sticks it near side corner around a defenseman. Okay, but let's see more than just being like, wow, that was a sick shot, which it was. But how did that guy get that shot? All right, so I'm going to talk again from the defensive perspective. All right, so the first dodge, we do a good job. We force the guy down the alley. We slide hard off the crease. Okay, and everybody else recovers, covers up the crease. We've got Jack Neer, number 2. He's helping cover the guy that slide. Right, that's me. That slide. He's covering my guy as I go. John Lade is in there as well. Okay, and the recovery guy does a really good job getting back in, getting matched up, right? He gets to number 13 and he's matched up. Good job on the first dodge. Okay, offense moves the ball really, really quickly. Now the time to attack again. Okay, so we see, to me, pole to pole, right? So Donnie Moss has a pole here. John Lade has a pole there. All right, on this pick, fine time to switch, right? That's fine. We can switch that because it's pole to pole. Now, we are a little spread out. This guy's behind the net, probably not where we want him to be. He should probably be up above the goal. Okay. Now we get a re-dodge, right? So the guy does a nice little step off. He sees the switch come, steps off, re-attacks. Okay. Roll back. Okay. So number one thing we talk about in defense is forcing our guy down the alley and saying we don't want to give up a sweep and we don't want to give up a rollback. Okay. And you'll see right here exactly why we don't want to give up a rollback. Okay. So this guy dodges the alley nice and hard. Okay. We overplay to underneath, right? We overplay down the alley, gives him the rollback. He attacks the middle of the field. Okay. Offense does a really nice job. Coach will talk about that. And you see Jack Neer right here, number 2. He thinks he's got to help inside, that this guy's going to be able to feed it to the inside because he's got all this lane to feed. All right. When the ball is over here and this guy's dodging the alley, Jack Neer's job is to help protect the crease, right? Because he's dodging away from Jack down the alley. All right. His job is to protect the crease. Now, the second this rollback happens and he starts attacking forwards, attacks this way, right? He's looking to help in on the crease, but now his guy becomes one pass away, right? This isn't even a skip pass. It's just one pass away, okay? Because he goes from being a 2 slide helping the crease to being an adjacent slide really quickly. And that's why an alley dodge to a rollback or a sweep is very tough to cover, because when the dodge starts, Jack Neer's job is one thing. When the dodge finishes, his job is something completely different, okay? And that's really hard to cover. So he does a good job of helping in, but because he becomes an adjacent instead of a 2 slide, and partly because this guy's behind the net and is not able to help us on the crease, right? This guy is open, does a good job catching, gets the ball off quick, and zips it near side. Okay, so to me, yes, this is good offense, but from this point right here, had we forced this guy down the alley and made him carry it behind the goal, this guy's not scoring a goal here. Okay, we always want to force our guy underneath, down the alley, take away rollbacks, take away sweeps. All right, Coach, you want to go back to the first dodge?
Yeah, let's go back to that first dodge.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, I love the spacing with these guys, right? This is a great dodge. He's beat. But what I love about this, right when he sees that slide coming, he pops his head. He looks inside. Nobody's covered, right? Good defense. Moves the ball through X, right? Right away here. He gets that ball right through X. I love how quick they move the ball here. Also notice when they're moving the ball, if you could stop it there, Coach, notice that all these guys have their sticks up, right? All these guys got their sticks up by their ears. All right. And they take pride in their passing. These guys are barely even moving their sticks at any point. Just watch 44 here, right? It sticks up by his ear, good, hard, zipping the ball, taking a lot of pride, moving their feet, stepping and throwing. No lazy passes here. One thing I want you guys to watch as this happens, 22 kind of gets himself caught up in a weird spot here. And, he's probably thinking he's going to go to his right, but instead he sets that pick, right? So he had his option. The next thing I want you to see is watch the X attackman. So this guy's all the way at X right now. He comes zipping to the ball, right? And this is how hard you guys have to cut. These guys aren't just jogging through their motions and getting out of the way and going to set picks by jogging. Watch him coming up through X. He's flying up to the ball because he wants to go score. Right when he feels his pressure on ball, we're talking now, right when he kind of, gets too far afield and it isn't in his hip pocket as a defender anymore, he feels he's right in the center of his back. Look, he checks him straight in the center of his back. Right when you feel that, that means that you're going to have top side, right? He's able to get his left foot up the field, simple rollback, and then watch the 3 crease guys here, right? These guys right in the crease, they are really cutting hard and they draw tons of attention. And when you have all that attention getting drawn to you, that two side has to be able to respect that. He comes in. I would love there to be a little bit more spacing probably with those attackmen, but they kind of did their job. They drew a lot of attention here, and 44 is setting up. So now if you look at 44, watch the exchange between the ball and 44. 44 is going to have his stick up in his ear, right?
Yeah, right
He's
here.
ready, triple threat. He's setting himself up in a great position where he knows that he can score from. Now, if we rewind it a little bit before that, if he had stayed this far away right here, probably not as good of an angle. He's not going to score there at all, right? Instead, he kind of steps up, finds himself into a good spot as the two side goes in. Great pass, precision passing, right? Exactly where he wants to take that shot. Big windup, his feet are moving. And one thing about our goalie coach talked about, if you notice, he actually shoots this around the defender. I mean, that's an almost impossible shot for a goalie to save because he's so screened by that. And he zips it right in the top corner. But, being in that triple threat position, having your stick to where you want the ball. There's a lot of guys, especially younger, and even in the varsity level, you see guys that have their stick, really, really low. And when it's below their hip, that's where, high-level players throw you the ball. So that's great pass, a lot of pride in passing there, and, zips it right by. Great shot.
Yeah, and Coach, you made a great point. I meant to talk about yesterday. I forgot again today. Look at where his contact is as a defenseman. It's up on the guy's where his name on his jersey is, right? That's never going to be able to control the offensive guy and force him where you want him to go. He's got to be low on this guy's hip, driving him out. I think it also would have been a much different situation. The rollback would have been much harder if his hands were on his hip, right? Coach, good pointing that out. We'll move on to the next clip here.
Swim. That's
Damn,
a nice shot.
Damn, man. I didn't like that one. All right, next clip. Let's watch it all the way through. This is a longer one. I think they get a shot off the pipe, so there's a couple pieces to this one that we can go over. Right? Again, I mean, most of these passes are right on the money, like Coach is talking about. Right? So they get to attack the middle, take the alley, move the ball quickly to the backside, redodge it up top. Alley dodge shot off the pipe. So why don't we split this into two clips? Because there's two good dodges there. Okay, we'll split this basically into two clips, and we'll watch the second series in a second. All right, so one of the things also, actually, just high-level stuff, that we really don't talk about a lot, but when you start a possession on offense, it's really good to spread out the defense, right? Spread them way wide. We talked about three guys above the restraining line, okay? But also it's really good to get the ball behind the goal, okay? You want to get the ball back behind the goal at least once in the possession because it just makes everybody turn around, right? If the ball just stays up above the goal up here, the goalie never has to turn around. The defense never has to turn around. Everything is in front of everybody. Even if there's a guy behind the net, right? Only one guy has to worry about him. Okay, but now as this ball spins around, you'll see, right? Everybody's job changes. Everybody has to spin their head. Okay, this guy that's now covering the ball, look at this. I mean, Coach, I think offensively you'll take a 10-yard head start at your dodge every single time, right? I mean, that's because the ball was at X and this guy had to help in. Okay, if the ball just stayed up top, he'd probably be 5 yards further out, all right, and not give this guy a chance to draw a slide so quickly. All right, so they get this concept here. I'm just going to talk a little offense, right? Is if this guy wants to protect the middle of the field, okay, the phrase we always use is to make him earn what he wants to take away. Make him defend the middle of the field. Actually, instead of just running the alley, running right past him, he makes him take away the middle, does a really nice job, and he's beating him by, it looks like 2 steps, 3 steps maybe, right? That's a really good dodge. The guy almost on ball kind of gives up, right? He stops sprinting and he starts jogging because he defended the middle of the field. He did his job, right? And I'm not saying I'm mad at this guy for this. This is good defense. We want to protect this way. We want to force the alley, okay? But because he attacked the middle, it opens up so much more for the offense, all right? So the quick slide comes off the crease, okay? Again, this is Joel White, right? Joel White is covering Busick, but he's helping in on the crease. Jack Neers helping in on the crease, okay? And Lazor is going to wind up recovering in, okay? After he just got slid to, recovers into number 13. That's pretty good team defense, right? A fast slide, good recovery. Everybody helps the crease. And now we work back out. The ball goes to X. We work back out. Quick ball movement, puts the ball back up top. Okay, now in this situation, they come and set a pick. All right, this guy's going to his left hand. That's his weak hand. All right, we wind up getting a switch. He might have been able to stay with the matchup there, but that's fine. We get a quick switch. Okay, and now this is another time that a sweep hurts the defense. Okay, because we're in a near man sliding defense, right? There's nobody on the crease, right? That means we're open, a near man adjacent sliding defense. All right, the sweep across. This guy takes kind of a bad approach, an aggressive approach, right? And this allows this guy to now get his head going downhill. And in this instance, we've got 2 D guys on the crease. I'm that guy, John Lade there, right? We've got to do a better job of communicating with each other on who's going to be our slide guy, right? Because I went from being the adjacent or, the backside of the field, a 2 slide if we had to slide off this guy, right? We wind up having to essentially slide with a switch, all right? And then it puts us in another sliding package. But instead of me going when I'm closer, right, we don't recognize it early enough. John Lade, he calls out that he's hot and he goes, right? And because it's, let's call it an 8-yard slide, a 6-yard slide instead of a 4-yard slide, that gives Connor Busick enough time to get this shot off, right? So if he winds up shooting from there, and that's the gap, that's really not that far. The difference between John and I at the start of this dodge is a lot longer than that distance, right? Had I gone, I probably could have stopped him from getting a shot at all. All right, this guy takes down the alley. All right, Matt Dunn right here. Matt Dunn, he plays for the Whip Snakes now. Does a really nice job of helping cover the crease, leaving the backside guy as one of the more least dangerous guys on the field, right? He's probably the least dangerous there, and he's probably second, maybe that guy behind. He should be above the goal. But, we got a late slide, and luckily kick save or hits the pipe. Coach, offensively?
Yeah, if you just, just very basically, if you look at these guys, every time a dodge starts, notice they never end up in the same spot after where they started when the dodge was. So if you rewind that right there, you just see simply 11's furthest from the ball right now, right? He's going to end up trying to be closest to the ball. 20 gets away from it. The backside attackman cuts near the ball. 22, he's the adjacent guy. He's now not the adjacent guy. It's just the simplicities of that, of never standing in the same spot once a dodge happens. One thing I love, actually, and frees us right here, I think it's number 11, who was the guy that was furthest from the ball. 13 right here.
Yep.
What he's going to do is, I love how he dives to the crease every time. He had done this earlier too, and I didn't really point it out, but great way to set up your dodge, attacking the leverage of the defense that they're trying to take away. But right when he bangs this ball down to X, I love how he cuts to the goal right now. 13 is flying to the crease right now. Now, the defense did a fantastic job. That short stick did a great job of getting there. But if he doesn't, that's an easy ding and dunk right there. I love the pick right here. I think
you guys see this. Sorry, Coach, but you see there's a pole covering the ball and a guy covered by a short, he comes and sets that pick. That's a great time to set a pick, right? Because if it works like it does, you got to switch. And now this is the best midi that we want at the pole, right? Now he's covered by a shorty. Okay, that's a great time to pick. If that's reversed, right? Let's say that this guy is covered by a pole and this guy's covered by a shorty. He would not want to set a pick there because a switch for us, for the defense, would have been really good. Okay, but him bringing a shorty to the ball, right? That's what we call it, bring a shorty to the ball, setting this pick, gets that switch. Puts their best midi against a shorty.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And if you rewind it a little bit more there, Coach, you could see that the furthest midfielder, even rewind it a little bit more, he actually notices that he's got the shorty and he's going to go set a pick on the ball. So he looks over and then he knows, okay, well, if this works, I'm going to get myself out of the way. So now it's a shorty and I'm going to create space for that dodge against the short stick. Whereas if he had stood there the whole time, that pole is going to be in a great spot just to be able to switch again. Clears through, short stick, sweep. I mean, it's a pretty high percentage shot. Not a bad shot.
Yep. All right, now let's watch the second clip all the way through here. And then this will be the last one we do. I hope we have some questions by the end here. I'm trying to double check the chat. Nothing in there. All right. Hopefully we have some questions by the end here, but we'll watch this clip and then we'll wrap it up here.
Oh,
right.
baby.
You
Little
like the
razzle dazzle back there.
you like the offense too much, coach. Come on. All right. So we know how the play ends, right? So let's see how it gets there. Let's see what caused that, that attack when he makes a nice dodge top side and scores. So let's see what happened that allowed that to be open. All right. So number one, this is actually really, really good defense by Jack Neer, right? He's physical. He's tough. His hands are in a cross check, right? He doesn't go for a stick check really at all. Drives him, comes to the middle, pushes him, cross check, drives him down the side, no slide. And we said this was their best midi, number 20. Best midi against a shorty. And Jack Neer wins that matchup for the defense with just tough physical defense. Okay. Ball moves to X. Coach, I know you're going to talk about it this part, right? We recognize as a defense, okay, we got an attackman covered by a shorty. This is a tough situation for us. We think this guy's probably going to beat his man and get above the goal and get a chance to score. Okay, defensively, we don't want to slide from the wings. So Matt Dunn shouldn't slide if he dodges this way. Jack Neer shouldn't slide if he dodges that way. The reason why, you got Kieran McCardle, great lefty shooter, wide open on the wing if this guy slides. Connor Busick, we said, really good righty shooter. He'll be open on this wing right here if Jack Neer slides. Okay, so our slide has to come from the inside. It can't come from the wing. Okay, and then basically between John Lade, number 40, myself, and Joe White, number 11, the three of us have to cover these three guys and have a slide ready to go. Okay, so what you'll see is Joel and I, we just play sides. All right, so that means I'm going to always defend this side. Joel's going to defend that side. And John Lade, we tell him he's going to be the slide guy no matter where his guy goes, right? And he points it out to the team, right? He recognizes, you'll see right here with his hand, right? Number one, he recognizes this is a invert, right? That's what that's called, a shorty going against, dodging against our shorty, right? That'd be an invert, okay? John Lade recognizes it, and instead of leaving the crease and saying there's nobody hot, he wants to stay in there, and watch what he does. He points to his man and says, hey, guys, cover him, right? And so I'm pointing back to him saying, all right, I got you. I'm here, right? Joel, help in. Lade is saying, here's my guy. And instead of him following up top, he stays inside ready to go. Joel switches, right? So this guy, number 22, Casey Powell, that's 40. That's his guy, right? But Joel's going to switch that and push him to me. He literally bumps that guy to me. All right, I'm going to take him. And Joel, you're going to stay with 22, and we're going to make them throw a lob pass over the top to number 57. That's the only way they're going to be able to beat us here, we say. Okay, and now John Lade is ready to go. He goes, and the breakdown comes right here. He goes for a stick check. Okay, when you are sliding, especially to an attackman dodging a shorty, right? That's a time that guy's thinking goal, 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 right? When you're sliding, you cannot slide and just throw a stick check. Right? You have to slide and put your hands on the guy, physically stop his momentum, right? So he makes contact right around here. If he had put his hands on him and stopped him here, this guy is, maybe a yard above goal line. There's nothing for him to do. And if he tries to roll back, he'd roll right back into a double team. Okay, but instead, he goes for a stick check, puts a stick on his man, gets run by, and we give up the goal. Now, one of the things I'd say that I should have done a better job of, right? If you watch this, number 28, that's me. My head is facing towards the ball way too much. Okay. From that point on, I never look and see what's behind me because number 57 does a really nice job of finding an open lane in the defense. Okay. So you can't be square to the ball, right? I keep my stick on this guy on the crease, right? But my shoulders and my head are facing right at the ball. All right. It makes it so that 57 is kind of open. If this guy's able to get a pass, maybe he might have been able to skip it if he stood right here. A skip pass right to that guy. You can't be standing square to the ball. Okay. You can't have your head and your eyes and your chest all facing the ball at once, right? We'd have a bad, kind of a soft slide, not physical enough. And we give up a goal literally right in the heart of our defense, a place that we should never give up a shot from right there, especially on a dodge. Okay. So for us, really bad defense, bad team defense. We didn't do a good enough job supporting each other, right? It's not because number 24 got beat that we gave up that goal. Okay. We don't expect number 24 to win his matchup there, right? We just have to play great team defense behind it, and we did it. Coach?
Yeah, if you rewind it back a little bit earlier here, right about here at the dodge, Watch number 11. What he's trying to do is he's trying to bait number 11 into kind of going to slide a little bit early, right? So you can see that he does what we call mirroring the ball. He's kind of mirroring it. He doesn't go set a pick. He's staying like 5 yards off. He's trying to get 11 to go. Now he doesn't go because he played really, really good defense here. But if he had hedged off, adjacent there, which is why we don't slide off adjacent. He's gonna be able to step down, draw another defender, and probably get into the next guy's gonna get into a good opportunity to score. One thing, if you rewind that back a little bit more, this offensive guy feels that his stick is down around his hips, right? So right here, he notices that the defenseman has his stick down at his hips. That's why he swims him. If his stick was up in his chest, he wouldn't have probably been able to do that. That's why he comes over and he's able to swim him. And listen, that's great defense, and that's a pretty high-level skill to be able to swim a guy like that. But that's why he does go swim him there. So if we keep moving here, 22 clears out his pull because he has the matchup. One thing I love about this is every other possession, they've banged the ball around on the backside, right? They've moved the ball to the backside and reworked it. But right here, this is just smart lacrosse. He realizes right away that he's got a short stick matchup, right? He's got the shorty, and everybody else is going to kind of clear out their space. Number 6 is telling him, whoa, 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 just slow down, man. Slow down. You got the matchup. And he's about to go here, and then you can see that he says, oh, wait a second. Let everybody get set up into their positions. So he kind of pulls it back off. Then he drags that defender exactly where he wants it to go. Now, his dodge is definitely not predetermined, but you could tell that he's going to come inside because he pulls him out to his right side. Now, if he had gone up the hash, up the sideline, that's a 10-yard shot running away from the goal. Instead, he sets it up, swims over the top, and then if you look at number 2, the adjacent guy here, this offensive guy does a fantastic job by just taking a couple steps away, by taking those 4 or 5 steps away from the goal and from the dodger. Number 2 takes 2 or 3 steps away from the ball, and that creates just enough lane here for him to be able to score. And then one other thing is when he's going to finish this dodge, one of the high school kids actually pointed this out. Notice how he keeps his stick really close to his body right here. He doesn't come back and swing his stick, because if he pulls back and he really cocks that thing up, he's just going to hit the guy behind him in the helmet. Instead, he keeps it in nice and tight. He doesn't have to shoot it 100 miles an hour. He knows where he is. He's just shooting that right off his shoulder. It's a fantastic job right there. Great way to finish, not worrying about hitting in the corners, just hits it low and away. Really tight, great spot. And the other thing is, like Coach was saying, 57, 57 kind of puts him, he notices that Coach K doesn't have his head. Coach K hasn't noticed 57 in like 4 or 5 seconds here, right? He's so worried about this cutter, and number 11 does a great job of being unselfish and create space for the guy behind him. And as he clears through right here, it's 57's job to read number 11, right? And he does a really good job because he's behind the play. So he reads number 11. He goes to his right. So 57 says, okay, I'm going to go to my left. Now, if 11 had stayed there, I can almost guarantee you 57 would have went to the other side. Good stuff. Great goal here. But the defense was really good. It was set up really well. It's just one poor mechanic right there, not sliding with your stick and then your body. It's the difference of a goal there.
All right, here we go. We'll jump back over here. You guys have any questions? I'm going to unmute everybody. So if you got the TV on, you're half paying attention, turn that thing on mute. All right, we're going to turn you guys unmuted so we can oh, hold on. We got one from Schaefer too before we unmute. Defensively off ball, when would you want to man up the ex-attackman? When would you want to man up the ex-attackman? Does that mean cover the guy here? Hold on, let me see. Schaefer, you're getting unmuted. That's a good question. All right, so Schaefer, what do you mean by that?
Like when they're moving the ball through the offense, and like a couple of times, like there was a defender on the ex-attackman instead of being on the crease. Would that be like the right play, or would you want to like be on the crease instead of guarding?
That's a good question. All right, so from a defensive perspective, right, when you're covering the guy at X, most of the time the ball is up top. We want you above the goal. Okay, and that's because we need you to help the team defense. We don't want, if anything happens, we want the ball to get passed behind the net instead of a shot or a pass to the crease for a dunk. So most of the time you want to leave the guy behind the goal, when the ball is up top, when the ball is on the high wing. As the ball starts to move towards the low wing, that's when you start to work out towards X, right? That's what we call that phrase is you work out towards your man. Okay.
Okay.
That would be the instance. The instance there would be as the ball moves lower, you want to start to work out towards him so that when the ball gets thrown to him, now you're on him as he catches the ball. But there are certain instances, right? There could be a time where we say, okay, one of those instances that happened was a shorty was covering an attackman, right? And so you just saw that last clip, an attackman ran by a shorty and scored. Okay, on the previous clip, there was one of our defensive midfielders was out there, making it hard for that guy to get the ball. He wasn't really shutting him off and locking him, but he was making it tough for him to get the ball. And that's because there's times where a midi is covering an attackman and he really doesn't want to get dodged by that guy. So he might go out there and make it hard for that guy to get the ball or shut that guy off. So most of the times you wouldn't want to match up all the way behind the net with the guy until he's about to catch it. But there are certain, scouting report and certain instances where you might. Anybody else? We're going to unmute everybody. Hopefully it's not too chaotic. Otherwise we might mute again, but unmute you guys if you have any other questions. Shafe, that was a really good question. All right. That's a good question. Cisco's writing in the chat. I guess you guys could just use the chat, but Cisco's asking, in that last clip, did the offense do anything to create the invert or was it just coincidence? Well, good thing we just learned how to watch film, right? Is we want to go back and see what happened and what caused things to happen. All right. So let's watch it again. Really, really good question, Cisco. So how does this invert come about? Well, let's see. We got to go back even further, right? Because he's on him right now. So we got to go back further, further, further. There we go. So at the start of the play, number 24, this is the guy that gets dodged for a goal. He's covering the ball here. He gets dodged. He gets beat. The slide comes from a defenseman on the crease. That was me. I slide. He recovers. And who does he recover to? Number 13, right? He recovers to that attackman. He's now covering that attackman. What does this guy do? He realizes, okay, I'm not going to hang out on the crease, right? I think he was looking right off the bat to set a pick for the ball carrier, right? Coming back there. He recognizes, okay, I got a midi. I'm going to go back behind the net, set myself up for an invert, okay? So very simply, the answer to the question is, how did it happen? It's because they drew a slide, right? They drew a slide. When you slide and recover, matchups can change, right? Matchups have to change, right? The guy covering the ball is no longer covering him. He's going to have to go cover somebody new. Okay, so for the defense, we want to slide, recover, and be ready to slide again as fast as possible. So we're not going to slide and say, oh, okay, well, now switch, because we got to switch matchups because I can't cover him, and you can't cover him, so switch, right? It's not going to happen rapid fire as the ball moves. So the offense recognizes, sends him behind the net. He does a good job of understanding the situation. Okay, like Coach Anderson said, he understands, right? This dodge happens. Oh, this is the second one, but he's still on him, right? He's still on him back behind the net. Now, at this situation, might be a time that as a defense you would want to switch that matchup. But here's where the problem is, right? I'm the guy that's supposed to be covering him or, is matched up on him all game. But I wound up, the guy I was covering winds up going to pick the ball up, right? If this guy back here was covered by a pole, we probably would have switched it, right? But that's where the other shorty is, okay? He winds up staying on the matchup. I'm on this guy up here, and now they get into the invert off of that, okay? Cisco and Schaefer, man, those are two really, really good questions. You impressed, Coach Anderson?
I am very impressed.
Anybody else got any questions? No? All right. Coach Anderson, thank you very much. Nice job today. Okay, I hope you guys took something out of that. That's the level, that you're supposed to take when you're watching films. And you guys have extra time right now. You're at home, you're hanging out by yourself or with your family. Okay. Pull out the computer, pull out the iPad, pull up some highlights and watch them and try and watch them the way we just watched. Okay. That was the point. It wasn't so I could teach you, and Coach Anderson, we could teach you like 10 really important offensive and defensive skills. Okay. We're trying to show you guys how to take film and learn those skills yourself. Okay. I mean, yesterday we had the high school guys and they had to comment at the end of each clip. And I probably haven't been more impressed with our team in anything we've done, this whole year than I was with the comments that we got from watching those clips and the things that they were seeing watching those clips. It was, college level IQ coming off those things, right? Coach said, like, noticing that the guy's stick was tighter and not hanging out to get checked from behind. There was a whole bunch of things just like that, that those guys noticed. So watch the clips yourself, watch video yourself, get on there, watch highlights, watch full games, watch a quarter, whatever it is. But hopefully you guys learned, how we approach film and how you guys can take advantage of watching film yourselves. So thanks for tuning in. We wound up getting 34 guys in here today, which is great. Hope you guys are staying safe, staying healthy, hit the wall, get your wall ball work in, and we'll be seeing you guys pretty soon. See you, boys.